Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you've waited patiently, and now the great state of Texas is proud to bring to you the Thanksgiving episode of Texas Rugby Monthly. With a man who defines gravity and walks the high wire rope, skillfully balancing his role at Rugby HTX and not spilling any of that insider information for us to hear on the podcast, out of Houston, Texas, Mr. Grant Cole. And then, is he a bird? Is he a plane? No, he's Dallas's human cannonballer, fearlessly flying headfirst into everything the Jackals are doing without regard for life and limb. From the Big D, Mr. Rick Collins, and I'm Dustin Zare.
How you doing, Dustin? Rick, no introduction necessary.
No introduction necessary. You know me. You know who I am. Lads, hey, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving week. Happy
Thanksgiving.
How's your November been?
November's been a better November than normal.
It's a no-shave November. I can tell, Dustin, you've been growing yours out.
Listen, I'm a proud supporter of Men's Health. My wife, however, is not a proud supporter of anything longer than this.
Than a day.
Than a day. And if I get past a day, it's, yeah, so we'll just kind of keep it.
So, I know you guys aren't in Houston, but my wife's got a 7-page, 16-item menu prepped for Thanksgiving. She started prep work on Sunday.
Okay.
Oh, Lord.
My sister's bringing 3 other items, and that's a typical Thanksgiving. What we do is we start the grazing around 11 a.m.
Yes.
And then dinner's served at 2 if you're still hungry.
Get out the stretchy pants.
No doubt. Yeah.
Oh, no, you have to wear the stretchy pants on Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're for us, the Thanksgiving time that's kind of our Super Bowl. Like, I'm not going to lie. I will, I'll throw down, as far as cooking. Like, I love to cook. And so, not regular related at all, but it doesn't really matter. But love to cook. And I think for us, the Thanksgiving is our jam. But this year it's obviously with everything going on, it's a little bit different. We're used to having 15 plus people in our house. Last year we had people from New Zealand and Australia and everybody kind of coming into town. That was kind of fun. This year it's just my wife and I. And so got our Thanksgiving duck this year. So we're going to do
duck. It's Instapot day then, huh?
No. We're going to do roasted duck. We've got sweet potatoes and Brussels sprouts, and we're still doing like stuffing. Like I got some.
You just got lots of leftovers.
Oh man, we'll be eating like kings. So
I will say that in Dallas it's always a big holiday because the Cowboys always play on Thanksgiving, and so for us it's always about sitting around the fire and the TV and watching the Cowboys and eating till our stretchy pants have completely worn out.
Yeah. You said watching Dallas play doesn't mean they'll win, but they'll play.
Yeah. Right now the
Jackals have a game on Thursday.
The Jackals
the
are
Dallas
playing.
team that might actually win would only be about, I would say, the Mavericks. Oh, FC Dallas actually.
Yeah. FC Dallas,
yeah. We won a playoff game.
They won the playoff. They're moving on. So
we're moving on. So,
I have not liked the Cowboys since Jerry fired Tom Landry, and that made my grandmother cry. Ooh. And since that day, I've hated the Cowboys. I loved them up until that day.
Well, I could share in your misery this year. It's been a tough year for Texas football teams.
Well, as everybody knows, I'm not originally from Texas, so I have no Texas allegiance, nor have I ever liked the Cowboys in the first place. So even though they're America's team, they're not my team. But I am a Browns fan, and it's been trust me.
Anything less out there than being an Oilers fan, it's a Browns fan.
We've suffered drastically for eons. I mean eons, and this year. There's hope.
There's hope in the future, right?
So you're saying we got a chance.
Yeah, well, Cleveland, I mean, you never lack for quarterbacks.
Every year it's a new surprise.
Yeah.
Well, or 3 or 4.
Yeah. And you know what? Here's the thing. Minus, was it Tim Couch back in 90 something? We've signed every quarterback we've had has come from the state of Texas, and they all been terrible.
Cite your references.
You're picking the wrong ones.
Listen, I'm not the draft panel for the Cleveland Browns.
Hey, going from one odd-shaped ball to another, I'm gonna jump right in.
Yeah, go for it. Let's this is Texas rugby. We should get back to rugby talk.
Back to rugby.
Lots of good stuff on this podcast.
Awesome stuff. So actually, big surprise.
Texas has been busy.
I didn't think I'd be announcing this today on the podcast, but we reached 1,000 members in our supporters group, the Jackal's Den.
Congratulations! How many are from the Dallas area? Do you know that yet?
I do not reveal that information.
7. Yeah, seven people.
All my English ancestors and made sure they signed up.
That's all right. That's something to be happy about.
We haven't even played a match. We got 1,000. Also, we did a tour. The 3 kind of leading members, admins, did a tour of Globe Life Park, the old Rangers Stadium, and how they've kind of remodeled it for rugby, soccer, and XFL if it ever comes back. And they're also playing high school football there. But really an awesome opportunity for the Jackals to play there. They're going to sit everybody opposite of the camera so that it looks nice on TV, as opposed to some of the other teams and their production work.
Listen, I'm not hanging up.
Showing those empty stands on the opposite side of the stadium with all the fans below the camera.
That drives me nuts. Sorry. Okay.
Anyway,
I'll get off my soapbox real quick.
It's very exciting. We're already working on plans for pregame. Post-match is going to be in the stadium with the players. They're going to have like a separate VIP area for players and family, but it's in the same building, same space as the fans. And the Jackal Den will have our own section right next to the player section.
That's fantastic.
With bar, food, everything. Very, very cool setup that they're going to have for us. Pre-game, whole nother issue. We're working on that. We've set up a page for the group. We're going to start production on our own content.
For what would you
the Jackal Den.
Yeah.
So we're going to have do interviews with coaches and players. Similar to the stuff you're doing, Dustin. Yeah, down with the AGs. So exciting opportunities ahead for the group. And then as far as the team goes, they've announced they're looking for an assistant coach, which they're paying $26,000 for a season, I would assume, not for the year, a season. And it's basically full-time work. You're needed there 8 to 9 hours a day for the 7 months or 8 months or whatever of the season for $26,000.
Rick, at that amount, I mean, how are they really going to find anybody that is?
Well, so if you said it was $26,000, it's over the course of the season and it's only during off work hours, right? And it's, weekends and things like that. You might be able to find a, college or club coach who would do that as a second job rather than basically doing the same thing for free. Yeah. But when you're talking about full-time hours, right? I just
Which is what you're talking about
here. It's a lot of work.
This to me reads as internship.
Yeah.
Right.
That's exactly what it reads at. I mean, it's almost an insult to $26,000 for a season.
Yeah,
exactly. And now that's a great paying internship, but it depends on what they're looking for. Oh, I've done internships where I wasn't paid for 4 months.
That was 20 years ago.
It was a long time ago. That's true.
But with that, a paid internship, great, but is it really assistant coach or is it just like?
And that's where I struggle with this.
Assistant coach for MLR should be somebody paid a little bit more handsomely than that.
It should be 50, 60 grand, I would think.
Yeah. I mean 26,000 ain't going to get you. Yeah, 20. That's not going to get you anything. I mean, Austin's expensive city to live in. I'm sure Dallas and where they're playing maybe a little bit cheaper, but still, that doesn't cover.
You cannot live
get anything.
a normal life off of 26,000. And what are you do during the off season when you're not getting paid? I think they're going to really struggle to find somebody who's going to be a reasonable assistant coach.
Yeah.
They find a very good intern for that price that will do kind of team managerial work and learn on the job. Yeah, maybe. But then you're paying $26,000 for somebody who might have worked for less than that.
Well, yeah, your $26,000 probably is, you're paying for somebody who previous experience was, like you said, maybe D1 college
for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You're probably not getting anybody with professional experience. I'd highly doubt it. Especially
exactly.
You're probably going somebody only in the US. Like you can't bring an international person. Like this is not international role.
No, not at all. So I think it's interesting. I think they maybe should have thought out what that position should have been before announcing it, but that's just me. Now, signings. This is where we had a big month. Right after
the next day after our
podcast, yes, we announced a bunch of signings within like a couple of weeks. The biggest one, I think, being Robbie Petzer, the fly half, number 12 from the Raptors, who he played 12 for the Raptors, but he's classically a 10. He's got a good boot, good distributor. He can still run straight too. So, moving him out to 12 with the most recent signing, I think is going to be high probability. Then we signed a couple of development contracts. The number 3 and number 4 in terms of development contracts, Henry Hall, former St. Mary's and Seattle Saracens tight head prop.
Okay.
And another prop, Adonis Johnson, who actually put his video in for the draft, but did not get drafted. Former Humboldt State loosehead prop, hooker, center. I mean, he's just a big body. In fact, I think eventually maybe he's a back row player if they can teach him the game. He's just a big body. He's very physical. He runs hard, good tackler, decent feet, decent speed and open space. He's got the natural talent and abilities. It's just a matter of teaching him fine points, which I think he'll have plenty of time to do that on a development contract. We also signed to finish out our Colorado Raptor front row, Marco Pipulia, Kiwi, and then we followed that up with another Kiwi, Tim O'Malley, which I think was actually a huge steal. He was supposed to go, I believe, to Japan following Petzer. From Utah, and obviously the Japanese contracts for the guys playing over here didn't work out, and so the Jackals gave him a call, and he's signed up, and I mean he fits right in at 10. I mean, and you looked at some of the guys that brought in, obviously right before that Petzer, thinking, okay, Petzer's going to be playing 10, and then right before that they had Rocky.
Yeah,
okay, here's a 10, Fijian 10, good player. And so now,
hookers are 4, fly halves are 4.
We got 6 props, 7 props.
You've got a 9 scrum halves, I think, right?
And we have I think we have 3 second row players, which I'm just waiting. Your big signing today.
It's because we got them all down in Austin, baby.
Is to get a big second row, which we have not signed yet. Also, it was cool to watch some of the Bermuda World Series 10s and see Christian Rodriguez and Mike Brown playing down there.
I'll tell you what, speaking of, I hate to cut you off. It's speaking of the Bermuda 10s, I didn't watch a whole lot. It wasn't just for me at the moment. And I had a lot of work going on, so I didn't get a chance to watch as much. And the ones I did watch, I was like, you could tell that those guys hadn't played in a while. The level of play was rough. It was rough to watch. I'm like, oh my gosh. I felt like lacing them up, after 10 years of retiring. You hadn't played.
Actually, funny you mentioned that. There was a 42-year-old player playing there for
Phoenix.
Phoenix, that's right. Yeah, he's playing scrum half.
Yeah, I know, that was great. I was like, damn it, man!
You were looking out there, you're like, is that an old boy playing out there?
I know. Is this a B-side? So, but Texas was represented very well down there. I mean, from the AG players, Houston, Rugby HTX. I think you guys had some too. Queens, so I was really happy to see that, just to see the number of people who play MLR, and granted, there's some bunch of guys from NOLA, but people. It was a good kind of stepping stone. I think that the 10 series, because it was so close to the US, was just kind of, hey, any MLR guys that want to take a chance and want to go down there and play, they they could have had a chance to go play with a lot of different teams and play against some high quality people. So
yeah, and I actually think out of everything, not necessarily learning about any new players, although it was good to see some of the draftees playing and playing well.
Yeah,
surprisingly well. I think the production value for it was really top notch.
Yeah, it's good.
Compared to MLR, for example, and maybe compared to some other not top level competitions, right?
Yeah.
But to me, it said this isn't that difficult to do. And MLR,
please take note.
Can put a good product on TV, right?
Yeah.
And they have, but it's not been consistent, right?
I think the only thing about that is, though, the production crew, I think they were English. I think they're British. Like, they came from England and put it on. Whereas in the US, each one of the home teams is responsible for the production, unless it's like CBS or something. But still, it's like, again, I know, like, I've been in press boxes where they're putting it on, and there are times where you kind of go, follow the ball. Like, you know, like,
dude, I've been in the production vans while they've done that. And I'm sitting there going, I'm the advisor. I'm the guy telling them
exactly
be here, and they're not doing that.
Yeah, exactly. I did the same thing whilst announcing the game, like during the stadium announcing.
I gave up on any chance of CBS or any of the other industry entities that are doing MLR matches. I gave up on helping any of them when I found out that they didn't really want your help. They just had to have me in there because that's what the league wanted.
Yeah. Well, wow. We just hope that it continues. I mean, listen, production quality. We're jumping way off of Texas.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
We jumped onto 10s is why you jumped onto that.
I know. Shit.
Okay, so let the Jackals have their moment with their brag. Come on, here we go.
Yeah.
Wait. No.
Kit release.
Kit release. Go for it.
So let's just start off with the kit release generally. You had all the teams releasing their kit at the same time.
Yeah.
Do we all approve of that, or do we think
I like that?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. They've done it every year. Last year, they were Roderick Waters went to Vegas for Austin and got the kit release, and that lovely blue, red, and black and with the big bull head in there that we couldn't get anymore. But I think I'm okay with it. Like, show them all off at the same time. I think that's fine. Each team kind of had I think Austin didn't really make a big splash of an announcement. I think it's kind of the same as Dallas and Houston. New England, total production quality,
right.
Again, New England social media, like I'll give them credit. Like, they together, they kill it, they crush it. Like, it's just every channel, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
And it's not just social media, but in general, like, they're producing T-shirts for every single player that they signed, and
that's awesome.
Part of the release, and just everything that they do as far as the business side of it's really good.
Yeah. Community engagement right there.
Yeah, exactly.
But to go on your question, I'm happy with announcing it all at the same time.
Okay, and I'll say that I loved the Jackals kit. I saw it in advance, so this wasn't a release to me.
No.
But I will say that when I saw it first, I'm seeing it on a small PowerPoint, right?
Yeah.
And not seeing it up close, not seeing it, with any kind of advertising flair to it. And it looked really good to me.
Yeah.
And then I saw the release and I thought, oh man, it does look really good.
Yeah.
And then one of our fans, actually from our Jackals Den group, from the Quins, the Jackals Den group member, won a free jersey and picked it up already. I gotta wait until January.
I'm actually kind of surprised that they already had the kits ready.
So
I know
they had a small sample for the sampling purposes, and so we got a
3XL.
We convinced the Jackals to give us one to show off to the group, and showing it off in a picture where players not even wearing it or whatever, that's one thing, but showing it off with an actual group member having one, that's going to sell way more jerseys.
Yeah.
And seeing him holding it looked even better. So I'm super psyched to get it in hand and wear it out to a match for sure.
Yeah.
And then lastly, locally, it was the 50-year anniversary for the Dallas Harlequins. Actually, this up in January, so 2021. And so they did a 50K run/walk, 50 kilometers for 50 years. So it was kind of an exciting thing that they put on. The Quins have been putting on a big media blitz, kind of following in the wake of what the Jackals are doing. It's exciting to see that the clubs are starting to recognize what social media can do for them. It hasn't really been done before. And I'm seeing not only the Quins, but I'm seeing Alliance do it. I'm seeing the Reds do it. Not as much. A lot of the other clubs didn't a little bit. Dark is doing some of it, but it's good to see something because it's been really stale for a long time.
Yeah. Well, tip of the hat to the Quins on 50. It's a big milestone. A lot of rugby clubs don't make it, and just to be around for 50 years. That's
and it's not even the oldest club in the area. The Reds have been around since 68, 69.
Yeah,
TRE started.
It's good milestones to hit. I wanted to ask Grant, how did you feel about Houston's jerseys?
Loved them. In the black, I like the hint of the bumblebee in the background on there.
Yeah.
And then on the yellow, I like the saber cat just kind of subtly superimposed across the belly.
Sublimation.
So yeah.
So there was a lot of that in a lot of the kits.
Yeah.
You can't even really see a lot of that, Grant, from a distance. I gotta like zoom in to the image to really see it. I think it's gonna look really good on TV, but I don't think they're doing it justice with the ads that they put
I think
out.
the two most impressive kits out there were the away kits of the Warriors and the Seawolves. Those two to me, as far as thought put into what the team's about and how they travel and what they're about when they travel, those things, and really there's a lot of thought put into those away kits. I'm really kind of
telling the story.
I'm really kind of surprised at the away kit of the of Austin. And I think when Austin goes to LA, that all the referees should wear complete white outfits as well. And
did we say that? Did I say that in the group chat to you guys too? I think I did.
But I really think that when Austin and LA play in LA, that the referees should just white out. Everybody in the stands white. Just tell the MLR this is the stupidest thing. You guys had the chance to deal with this long before it ever got there, and you chose not to.
Maybe there's still
easy way to fix this. LA makes that kit their away kit, and they bring in a brightly colored.
Yeah, they bring in the bright pink, super pink, whatever they do.
So then they're all referees.
Yeah, the referee's got to wear.
The referee's got to wear their blue then. So
yeah, there you go.
Listen, I can get, as a marketing and branding guy, I can go into some pretty deep detail on. Listen, I do design. I understand. I'm not a professional designer. I did mock up a couple, like playing around, like, oh, what could Austin's kit look like? I'm okay. First of all, we're going into Austin. Austin's coming up next. We'll end the sequence of the show, so we'll just go into it.
We're good.
First of all, numbers off the front. Thank God.
Thank God. That's a win.
That's it. I'll tell you that. That's all we need.
Last year.
Better than last year. The state of Texas was fixed.
That's
on AG.
I couldn't tell. It was hard to tell.
It is. They put a little star in Austin for the capital, like in the state of Texas. I'm on the fence, right? So like the kits overall, rugby kits have always been like, where are you from? Who are you? What do they represent? The colors of your city, colors of town, whatever it may be. I think, we have UT here. I'm always going to be I don't know how I feel about burnt orange in the first place. So it's just what it is, but I can't say, not gonna do anything about it. But I think
how I feel about that color.
We know how you feel about it. So I think that they're okay. I actually, if I compared the white to the orange, I actually like the white ones better.
Yeah.
Like as a supporters shirt. However, I think that they missed the mark on like adding a little bit more orange, a little bit more flair to whatever the kit was. Playing.
What story is it trying to tell? That's what I'm.
None.
It's generic branding.
Yeah, I think one thing that's the
thing.
The league branding team needs to take over when it comes to kit is the numbers on the back of the jersey. And how they need to have a lot of clarity to them.
Yeah.
Not just for the commentators, but for the fans as well. And
are you referencing the AG away jersey last year when they played in Houston?
And
Noah?
I mean, it's no one team. The only team that ever did it well were the Raptors.
Yeah.
And
the blue on yellow.
Gold.
Yeah.
The gold,
and,
whatever.
there's a way to make that happen. And, the NFL dealt with it years ago by putting a standard in for how the numbers have to be. And they have a standards guy that says, okay, this, when you introduce the jerseys at the first of the year for this is what we're going to do. They have to, all the standards have to go through that guy first.
Yeah.
Or that team first. And if it doesn't meet the standards, you got to change it.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it's not a hard thing to change either.
It's not, and I think that there is a bit of people are like rating it and design. I gave it to one of my good friends and somebody who is a professional designer, and he's done kits over in England, for kind of the championship level clubs in the past, and he does soccer and stuff too. They do all look a bit soccer style jerseys. Mm-hmm. Like they all look like a soccer jersey for the most part. Like there's a couple of things here and there, and so there is kind of that. But I really they're hit and miss, and I think the Austin one I think they just missed a little bit on. Again, what's the story? I thought being in Austin, being the capital, being the Lone Star State. If you want to get somebody that says it, like I'll post it online, later. Like again, it's not the best because it's not what I do in that capacity is design jerseys, but it literally just had it was like white. It had orange going down the sleeves. It had, instead of having just Texas, it had Texas and the AGs in the middle, and then I had like a big like Captain America star like right in the middle chest with like 4 bands going across with white, white, orange, white, orange, white, orange all the way down. And I thought that looked good because it says, great, we're the capital, we're the Lone Star State. If we want to play on that one, perfect. Like at least do something along that line. Like don't just like have the AG right here in the middle.
It looked like they went back to the jersey from last year and said, where did we screw up on this jersey? And then they fixed it, and that was it.
I really hope that their training kits and things like that have a little bit more pizzazz to them.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
That's fine. What else is going on in Austin?
Nothing.
There are some big signings.
Nothing big, and I mean big signings. So, hey, I don't know if you guys knew this. Bryce Campbell signed. Announced on the September episode of...
Yeah, I feel like we did
Texas
it. Maybe a little bit early.
Officially signed.
It's official now.
Hey, but I mean,
he's been in Austin though now for a little while, right?
Yeah, back and forth. I don't know where his hometown is, but I know he has been in town.
Okay.
A lot of people have been in town, which is kind of fun to see. But listen, Bryce Campbell, 32 USA caps, just scoring tries like he played. It was kind of funny. He and Will McGee were, they're buddies, they're best friends, and I think Will kind of coaxed Bryce to come and play with us, maybe, or at least had a little bit of influence. They both played together in Colorado together. Also, I think Bryce influenced someone else to come, who we'll talk about here in a minute, which is really exciting as well. But I think Bryce Campbell, I mean, he's going to be a powerhouse. He's one of the top, I think he's one of the top players in USA Rugby right now. I think he's a strong runner. He's going to, we need somebody at that inside center position. I think he'll play inside center. I think he'll play 12. Grant, I think we talked about this with like Adam Ashley Cooper about maybe he plays 13, but I think maybe he goes 12. I don't know.
Well, Bryce is 12.
Yeah, I'd say
it's hard for him to be a 13. He's a 12.
Yeah, and that's what I thought you said that one time. But yeah, I think it'll be. I think having him at 12 will be great. And it can go with the other signings that we have. And oh, Canada, man, Canadians
a lot of Canadians
are coming down. Yeah, they're coming down from the north there, eh? They're here and in the Houston too.
They're trying to escape that Canadian winter.
Yeah, no, I would too.
But
and they will.
You use the Ontario accent.
Excuse me.
Most of these players is it Quebecois?
That's true, and that accent there does not exist. So it's just a regular. It's like talking to me, the bland accent. So first of all, so we'll start with one maybe a little bit lesser known, Cole Davis. If you watch sevens, so Cole is a 15 and a sevens capped Canadian international. He's got 5 caps at 15. Really exciting player. He is quick, 6'2", 225. He is a winger. So both signings are technically wingers, but the second signing can play outside, I think. But he was a Brumbies under 20 squad, really exciting player again, but he's been playing. He did the entire 7 series for Canada last year. And if you go back and watch the highlight reel, man, he's fast. Ooh, he's fast. And that is pretty exciting to have. Austin is stacking up in the wing position, and we'll get to that here in a second. The second Canadian signing is Jeff Hassler. If you don't know who Jeff Hassler is, he has 36 international caps for Canada. Yes, Grant, you're on mute.
He's the prettiest man in all of USAMLR rugby.
Listen, ladies get excited in Austin. It's just,
Is that part of the marketing campaign?
Oh, absolutely.
I think everybody in Austin's getting excited about Jeff Hassler.
I mean, listen, hold on, man. Oh man,
that's how that hair.
Listen. That hair. It's the Fabio look, right? So for those of you wondering his size, he is 5'10", 218. Does play wing.
Hey, that's my size.
That's your size.
I think he's a bit more fit than me, though.
He's a little more fit. But I think that the big thing about Hassler is, he was. It was shocking to a lot of people in the rugby world, especially in Pro 14. He played for the Ospreys over in over in Pro 14. Had 88 appearances, 25 tries, like a phenomenal player, and just said, "I'm done." He kind of fell out of love with the game, really, and got coaxed over by some former teammates, to go play in Seattle. So he's got championship winning
pedigree
resume. Pedigree, whatever. And I think it's going to be exciting having him come down. So that's, if you think about the wings now, you've got Cole Davis, Jeff Hassler, you've got Frank Halai and Roderick Waters. And, if you go to the whole back line, then you've got Zinzan, you've got, Kurt Morath and Will McGee, and then Bryce Campbell. So it's like, we're filling out. Like, I will argue maybe that one of the most dangerous lines in the league right now with just
if your forwards can secure possession, then maybe your scrum halves can get the ball out there, then we have forwards. I don't know if you know this. Speaking of, but kind of go back on the Canadians, there's actually one more Canadian that's supposed to be coming to Austin. Brian Ray at America's Rugby News. He did kind of make a comment in an article a couple weeks back. Regan O'Gorman, and so that'll be interesting. He's a big guy. He's playing down with, I believe it's South Canterbury right now, down in New Zealand. But he's kind of a big. He's a lot like Josh Larson, like same size, same build, same appearance. And of course, then we've got Mo Abdallah, who is, God, man, that dude is you talk about a jackler of the ball. That guy will steal every ball he can get his hands on. So four Canadians on the team. Pretty excited about that. Like the all high pedigree. Looking forward to it. And then today of all days, it was like a gift from the rugby heavens. Grant, I know that you are a big fan of the forwards and that you are a big fan of the engine room. And what goes in the engine room? Well, they have big players. One of those big players is one of your favorites, Mr. CEO, Christian Osberg. He's going to have some nice company right next to him right now. Yeah. Today, Austin signed Sebastian de Chavez. And for those of you that don't know Sebastian de Chavez, he currently plays for the London Irish. He used to play with Bryce Campbell. That's where that connection comes in. And at 6'8", 265 pounds, the man is a monster.
and it's very exciting. And so you've got two high caliber locks driving that scrum with our back row. Just I'm excited. There's some back row we talked about, I think last time, a championship winning 8. I do know who it is. I'm not going to say, but I do know who it is.
It hasn't been announced yet.
It has not been announced yet, but it's a really good sign. I'm excited for it. Then, so I think, DeChavez, like he's got 42 premiership, caps with Leicester, playing at London Irish now. He's a little bit older. He's 30 years old, but again, not that old. There's locks everywhere, but South African, really exciting player. Like that guy is, I think that the more and more I look at it, and you look at Austin and the quality that they're bringing in and the level of experience, they're making an instant statement, right? Like they've got the people that are coming in that are going to be like, hey, Canadian internationals, premiership players, things like that. Like I'm pretty excited about it. So yes, I will say not only does Austin have a dangerous back line, but the pack is also looking quite solid. So I'm pretty excited to talk about that. So lots of signings. I think that's important for Austin. The other thing that's important for Austin is advertising. And there has been a lot of it, and it's something that hasn't happened in the past. So my second thing, one, we've got all of our signings. The second thing, advertising. And as a marketing guy myself, I love when people actually advertise. I think it's been one of the downfalls of Austin from season 1.
I was going to say that's been the biggest struggle.
Oh, it's been terrible. And the guys know I'm pretty honest over at the team, and I'll be, forward about that. It is pretty sad that we haven't been able to be out in the public space as much as we should have been. As with the Jackals, I'm sure you're doing stuff, and Houston, I know you guys are doing stuff. But I think now there are 13 billboards across town with the Ruck 2020. You can use your imagination on what that marketing campaign is.
We got it. Yeah.
Did you get it? Okay, just making sure. I didn't have to throw that out there. Just change a letter to one to Truck 2020. That's right. But I think people complained, right, online on the social media forums. They're like, well, there's nobody can tell what it is, and it's like it literally says AG Rugby coming 2021. It's got a mouthpiece, whatever. But it's more, it's not, there's like, oh, where's the call to action? It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a call to action. It's a brand awareness thing. And brand awareness is important right now. We're going up against Austin FC as well. So have that, which is kind of difficult. But at the same time, we really want to show that, we have the capability to do really great things here in Austin. And we need to be out in public showing all of that. So there's not only that, there's radio ads that are coming, there's TV ads that are coming as well. But they also had Sunday Night Football and a Dallas game.
That was crazy. I was like, wait a minute, try to steal our marketing.
Were you watching it live?
I was watching it live, and I went,
wait a minute.
What did I just miss?
Yeah, exactly. If you blinked,
like
you blinked, you missed
it. Was 8 seconds actually. I mean, it was there and
seconds,
gone.
Timed it.
Yeah. It was 8 seconds. My thoughts on that were, at least we're trying.
This
right?
old footage.
What's that? Yeah, it was a footage of the Houston game. If you were looking at it, so from last year. Yes, it was last year's Houston game, just a tackle.
Okay.
I think it was a little too fast for me, but that doesn't mean that it isn't just there.
You're
so it's
dipping
exciting.
your toe in a pool that nobody's been in yet, and that's it. That's important.
Was it probably a hefty chunk of change? Yes.
God knows.
Yeah.
Yes.
Still,
it probably.
Still, I mean, it's important.
It doesn't matter.
Done.
Yeah. And I think the important thing that's happened afterwards is everybody kind of talks about it, with everybody talking about Austin online and different forums and whatnot, you're talking about us.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened last year with the Gilgronies and like, wow, like, well, you're talking about us. So you're giving us more recognition.
Yeah. I think the problem is though that it's rugby people talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
When are you going to get the non-rugby people to talk about it?
I'm working
that's
on
the key, right?
I'm working on Joe Rogan. I'm going to get him.
That'd be good, man. Go in there, do an interview with him.
Joe Rogan and Stone Cold Steve Austin, because he has a podcast here in town too. So that's awesome.
Really? Oh, that would be amazing.
No, that would be. And then I know another.
That's where you ought to bring Sebastian the Chavez in with Stone Cold. I mean, right, you bring him and Brendan Rams in, and that's who you get Stone Cold to do an interview with, because Stone Cold will love those two guys.
Yeah, right. So that's kind of exciting for us to, again, like I said, I've got somebody else who's an actor that I'm in the movies that I'm trying to get to come out to games and trying to get to do some advertising spots.
I wonder, was he on the sidelines at the Sevens Olympics?
Does he like burnt orange already?
No. Nope. It's actually you probably wouldn't. You probably wouldn't.
You've already
like
gotten in with a guy who likes rugby in that town and likes the color burnt orange. So I mean,
I know.
Wait, which one? McConaughey?
Yeah.
I didn't know he liked rugby.
He was at the Olympic Sevens on the sidelines at the USA Women's Games.
Yeah, he's got other priorities right now, right? Because his heart is Verde 100%. Since he's a principal owner in the team, so that's kind of. But yeah. Anyway, so for AG stuff, good advertising, good things going on there. Signings. There is one signing, not player related, that I want to announce, but I can't technically do it yet.
Is it a coach?
We can't do that one yet.
I can't do that yet. I can't do it yet.
You even got to cut that out of the audio podcast when we talk about it. You can't even hint like that.
I can't. It's actually signed. The contract is signed,
but it's not announced yet. So,
but it's not announced. But I don't know if they'll announce it. Like we're working on seeing if they should. Odd. Sorry. Offline Rick will tell you what it is. That's good. And then my last thing, sorry.
All right.
Going long there. My last thing, non Gilgroni related, is Austin Huns had two players go play with the USA Rugby South against the Nola Gold Academy. Came out with a win. Phil Hansen and Jacob Godmer. Excited. I was trying to get some more information on them. I know they won. I know they both got time on, so that's great. I talked with Jacob. Going to try to have him come on the Austin Rugby podcast and just tell us what his experience was there.
Phil from Hansonville is my man. I mean,
I like Phil Hansen.
Aggies, you know that.
What? No, you don't. Come on.
Well,
let me tell you, where's his Aggie shirt?
We've been in this for a little over almost an hour now, so I don't have much from Houston. We've just had two signings, both of them Canadian, Crosby Stewart and Liam Murray. Crosby Stewart's a scrum half, and Murray is a prop. So that's the addition to the Cats 2021 roster, and that gets us to about 24 sign. That gets us to 24 sign, which leaves us with about eight more signings to announce. Looking at the roster right now, if you were to think about if the roster were to stay this way, and we know it won't, we're looking at playing a lot of 10-man rugby. If that was the case, because we haven't really put a whole lot of work into the back line yet. I think a lot of work's been put in. We just haven't signed a lot of people.
I just realized that you have 7 props.
And 3 of them are named Nick.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Nicolas. Wow.
Yeah. Our biggest contributions are from Argentina and Canada when it comes to foreigners. And
it's a very international flavored team.
It is a very international flavored team. That was the other thing I was going to say.
You do have 3 Americans.
We have 3 Americans and one Zach Godfrey, who is eligible for the U.S. and played and was picked for the USA under 20s last year, and is still eligible for USA under 20s this year.
Okay, that's nice.
But the expectation is they're going to have to make quite a few more American signings.
Your last 8 signings all have to be Americans.
Not really. I mean, I don't know if I would expect that at all. But Moa Maliepo is Tongan, but he's capped with Romania. Had 2 caps from earlier this year with Romania, and then Zach, of course, is capped. So that's we doesn't look like they went a whole lot after cap players this year, except for there.
Yeah.
Apasai Tayavuka is in the player pool for Fiji, but he hasn't been capped yet. And then a couple others have been in their own player pool. Jeremy Leinertz, of course, still in Belgium's player pool. player pool, but not yet capped. Valdemar Lilo hasn't decided whether he's going to, he hasn't been invited to either Samoa or the U.S. yet, and but he is eligible for both. So
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you can look there. We've got 7 props and a hooker, so I think we're done signing props. I think we've got that down. 3 locks, 2 flankers, 2 scrum halves, 2 fly halves, 3 centers, 2 wings, and 2 fullbacks. And one of the fullbacks is a fly half fullback wing. So
you only need 1 fly half.
So well, I mean, yeah.
Well, you need a backup just in case, but with Sam, it's
Do you see Luke being a number 8, or you think they're going to bring in?
Luke's a 6, man, and he plays 4 or 5 when he needs to. He can play 8, but if he's at 8, it's mainly because they have a defensive player that needs to play at 6 or 7. And he's not really an 8-man when it goes in.
Yeah, I would think they're going to probably bring in a big-time 8-man would be my guess.
Well, and I mean, they had a couple from last year that they could still bring in. Van, of course. He just we haven't announced whether he's with the team or not, and I can't tell you yay or nay because I don't know. But I'd love to see Van back with the team. My wife would love to see Van back with the team.
I heard her too. She was very excited about it. I tell you what, Grant, you just put the mic down. Let's bring the wife on and give her thoughts on what's going on.
So and that's where the team stands right now. But like you said, it's a lot of international flavor there. And while you would think that the last 8 signings might be American, that's not necessarily so.
Yeah.
So Houston is a very cheap town to live in. So I made a sighting the other day in Houston of somebody who should be on a radar from the Raptors who hasn't been named to a signing. He wasn't I didn't see him at Aviva. I saw him out on town. So
interesting.
And but it's a former Raptors player and who happens to be from Houston. So I would love to see him in our line out because he is a power player and one that I think Dallin calls Quadzilla.
Yeah. I was gonna say I know exactly what you're talking about.
I had a feel like I know who it was.
Yeah, but I don't know. I
was gonna say, does he play outside?
I don't know.
Well, and like I said, it had me seeing him had nothing to do with him being involved in rugby. So that wasn't
just fortuitous.
Yeah, it's just fortuitous. And
he's from the area.
And he is from the area, so he could just be here visiting family. So
actually, I would like to point out though, how many million people live in Houston?
7.8 million in the greater Houston area. You know who else lives here and plays for Rooney is Charlie Hewitt. Connor Mooneyhan lives here and plays for Dallas.
Yeah.
So you've got guys that live here and play for other teams in the union, but this is their home and this is where they work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see as things progress with MLR if people end up moving to. I know a lot of people have moved, are moving to Austin or staying in Austin. All of our draftees, Mason Koch and Louis Satama and Cam Dodson, not necessarily a draftee, but our first signing. By the way, another second rower who's a monster of a man.
Yes,
who will help out. Yeah, but they're already in Austin. People are the guys are already here, which is pretty exciting. And I think some of them are already moving here just to say, hey, if we want to be in Austin. Granted, Austin is much more expensive to live in than Houston, but most of the guys live up in Round Rock, so it's a little bit cheaper up there.
Yeah. It's not that bad in Round Rock.
No, it's not as bad as living downtown where I live.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, guys, what do we? Since you are the resident TRU experts right now, well, I guess Grant, I shouldn't have interrupted, but I think that was it. Anything else going on? Is there anything else going on in Houston? Any training or anything?
Yeah, I mean,
Rugby HTX. You guys doing
training's over for the fall season. We will resume in January. So we're on break until January.
Kind of quiet time.
We haven't been updated yet. I know the last TRU call and notes basically went as, are there any updates? No.
See you later.
I think, basically, right. I think the biggest issue is that because of the kind of this mini spike we've had in the last month.
Mini? What city are you in?
Yeah, you're in.
Well, Dallas, comparatively, I guess our numbers have been kind of high for a while. It hadn't.
Yeah. Houston's been code red since June. So.
Yeah, we just went up. Yeah, okay. Austin just went up to. We were at level 3. We're now back up at level 4 now. So
yeah, we moved back up 1.
Whatever these levels, everybody's red light, green light, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But as far as for the universities, everything's was previously pushed back to the spring. I think they're starting to wonder in December, are they going to have to move things again?
Yeah,
because as of right now, you're looking at an end of January start to a spring season. That's now in question. I haven't heard anything, no updates on youth rugby, high school youth rugby. They're still playing on January start. There's really not a whole lot other than the fact that I know TRU is still having questions about what they're going to do as far as national championships, whether if national championships happen, if RRC teams are even going to be involved.
Yeah.
I think there's a thought that we just do a regional championship, right?
Yeah, the state championship.
Teams have a state championship. Well, it's not really state, right? I mean, Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma.
Yeah, I don't
have a championship, and
I don't see it happening.
And now there's questions of should we going forward even continue national championships? I know Grant, you've been involved in those conversations as well.
That's a whole podcast episode.
Yeah,
I know.
Well, and I've been involved in those podcasts at an industry level, and not really at a rugby level. I just hear back on the rugby stuff. It's tough to speculate right now. Plans are being made. The industries, all the major industries are being asked by the Biden transition team what their thoughts are. How are you doing it? How are you maintaining things? What's the best thing that you need done? And the feedback is going to be from the business side of things is a lot different than from the social side of things. So I think we should, listening to these overall, I think we should be prepared that some hard decisions will be made, and we're just going to have to deal with it to get it in order. But it's interesting that nobody that's involved in these discussions is going into this lightly. And all of these discussions that are being made, every one of them is tense. Every one of them is, we know we messed this up the first time around. Let's get it right. And we don't know what right is. And that's the odd thing is everybody, is pretty adamant that they don't know what right is. So,
yeah. And I think there's going to be lots of debates going forward about what happens with. I don't foresee a championship happening this year. It's just the logistics of it are insane. Player welfare is something to be discussed in that too. Yep. And that's probably first and foremost, like people playing 3 games. I heard someone talk about playing 3 games in a weekend. That's insane. There's no way.
That's the worst player welfare thing you do.
Yeah. That's literally, you want to ruin rugby fans, rugby players for future, whatever selections, whatever. Let's do that. Yeah. But I don't see it being played. Can they go down to state by state? Sure. But it's just going to be, I'm just going to be happy if we can get some friendlies in.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if we go straight into 7s next year.
Yeah, that's something to do.
I would not be surprised.
Maybe some summer 15s.
Bad decision, Rick. Even though that would be painful and none of us want that to happen, I think that would be a good decision to make. I think that's the hard decision to make. Right. But I think I would think that would be very, very important to do.
With maybe some tournaments leading up to 7s, some 10s tournaments or something that would get non-7s players involved. Yeah. But basically anything that would be involved in USA Rugby, National Rugby would be straight into 7 season.
Yeah. Well, for another time, another day, another drink for that one. That's what that conversation will be.
For that conversation, for sure.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, any closing thoughts here, Mr. Cole, the tightrope walker?
The only tightrope I'm walking right now is with my health, but I'm getting that.
But things are good. Yes,
things are good.
They're not bad. Things are not bad. We don't know if they're good yet. We just know they're not bad yet.
We'll take that. Hey, sending well wishes on to you for sure.
Yes, for sure.
That's first and foremost. Rugby,
I would say
health first, rugby second.
Even though we may not have University Rugby, I'm excited to see some rugby next year. I'm no doubt that even though we may not be able to actually attend MLR matches will go forward. I think the league's got plans to make sure that we do get a season.
Yes.
So I'm excited about that at least.
Yeah. So we'll be watching it from the comfort of our own home, if possible. But
looking at those seats that we would have been sitting in.
I'd have been right there. Yeah. So, well, I mean, it is what it is. We're going to keep on keeping on. Hey, Thanksgiving's this week. Be thankful to your friends. Be thankful to your family. Be thankful for your health, whether it's good, whether it's bad. Well, not bad health. We don't want to be thankful for bad health. That's bad health. That's ridiculous. So, but be thankful. Be thankful for what you have. That's what I always like to say around Thanksgiving, because you never know when things can change. So, for Grant Cole over there in Houston, getting ready to cook for a whole bunch of people and have hours of delicious eating and probably
stretchy
some
pants,
good beverage and stretchy pants. Rick Collins, what you got for Thanksgiving? Anything big?
Oh, definitely fried turkey.
Fried turkey. There we go.
Oh, for sure.
I'm going with duck, so we're going to change it around a little bit. It'll be good. We appreciate you guys tuning in to Texas Rugby Monthly. Be good to yourselves and to each other. Thanks for joining.